using the BS18B20 temperature probe with the JackBord. This temperature probe is special because it has a stainless steel tip on the end of a cable, which makes it easy to measure things like water temperatures, soil temperatures, and air temperature. A temperature probe lets you measure the temperature or how hot or cold something is with your JackBord. To connect the temperature probe to your JackBord, you're going to need a small flathead screwdriver. The probe is capable of measuring temperatures in the range -55 to +125 degrees Celsius. The accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius, between -10 and +85. The accuracy drops to plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius over the full range from -55 to +125 degrees Celsius. This probe uses the one-wire standard for communication with the JackBord. This is a special protocol that lets you attach lots of different things to the same pins. In the JackBord's case, port pin C5 is the one-wire port. Each probe comes with the probe itself, some jumper wires, and a small interface PCB. To connect the probe to the JackBord, we need to use the supplied interface PCB. But first, make sure that your JackBord is turned off. If you look at the end of the probe, there are 3 wires and these should be stripped. The black wire is the ground wire. The red wire goes to +3 volts. And the yellow wire is the data wire, and this goes to pin C5 on port C. If the wires haven't already been stripped, you will need to do so. In this case, you must remove about 5 mm of insulation from the end of each wire, and then twist the strands so that they're secure. Next, take the black wire and insert it into the ground terminal. Use the screwdriver to tighten the terminal so that the wire can't be pulled out. You may need to unscrew the terminal to make sure that the wire will fit in. And when you do fit it, make sure that the wire itself is in the center before you screw it down to tighten it. Next, take the red power wire and insert it into the VCC terminal. And again, make sure it's in the center and screw down the screw to tighten it. Be careful not to over-tighten the screws, otherwise you'll break the terminal. Lastly, take the yellow wire and insert it into the DAT terminal and do up the screw. Your wires and terminal should now look like this. If they don't look like this, or your wires are loose, go back and check all the steps to make sure that you didn't miss anything out. Now we need to connect the 3 jumper wires into the interface board PCB. To do this, line the jumpers up in a row and plug them into the 3 pins on the right-hand side of the interface board. Once you're done, it should look like this. Make a note of which colored wires go to which pins on the jumper board, as you'll need these later on when we connect them to the JackBord. To provide some extra protection for the wires and to stop them from coming out, wrap them together with some insulation tape. Next, we're going to connect the jumper wires to port C on the upper right-hand side of the JackBord. The VCC line needs to go into the 3-volt pin of the JackBord. The green ground line needs to go into the ground pin, and the DAT line, which is yellow, needs to go into pin C5. Don't forget that the jumper wires that you have may well be different colors, so it's up to you to keep track of which one goes to which pin. In our example, the green hookup wire is ground, the blue hookup wire is VCC, and the purple hookup wire is the DAT line. First, insert the ground jumper into the JackBord's ground pin on port C. Next, insert the VCC jumper into the 3-volt line on port C. And finally, insert the DAT jumper into port C5. Once you're done, your port should look like this. Overall, your probe should look like this. Notice that the probe is connecting into the interface board, and then the jumper wires go from the interface board into port C on the JackBord. Once you've double-checked all of your connections, turn your JackBord on and log into your dashboard account. Once connected to the JackBord and logged into your dashboard, go to the command page. Run the S1WON command, which turns on the one-wire system. The JackBord will then find the temperature probe. Looking at the command output, we can see that the probe has been allocated channel 26. So now, if we run the GT command, you'll see right at the bottom the temperature readings from the probe are indeed on channel 26. Now that the probe is working, go over to the live page and grab the probe and try warming it up, and watch the readings change as the probe gets warmer. It is possible to have more than one temperature probe connected to the JackBord at the same time. In this example, we've added a second temperature probe to port C. To do this, simply follow the process we just went through for each additional probe. Once all of your probes are connected, go to the command page and run the F1W command. The JackBord will find all of the probes and display them to you. Next, run the GT command and you should see your new temperature probes listed at the bottom. In our case, these are listed as channels 26 and 27. Now you can go to the live page and while grabbing each of the temperature probes, watch the readings change as their temperature increases. When using the temperature probe, keep these safety points in mind. First of all, never use the temperature probe on a naked flame or at temperatures above 110 degrees centigrade. If you do, there's a chance the probe will be destroyed. Don't use the probe in any corrosive liquids like acids. And finally, don't place it anywhere where there's a chance that it might come into contact with electrical cables. If you're in any way unsure, get help from an adult. Congratulations, you now have your temperature probes working with the JackBord. For more information, visit www.jackbord.org.